Hey everybody, welcome to Comics with Bueller. As always, I am Bueller. We are here tonight on Friday night at 5:30 as normal. And we got a great subject to talk about tonight. And I'm not alone. I have a guest with me, and this guy's made some appearances on my channel. I've made appearances on his channel. None other than Comic Tom from ComicTom101. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing so good. It's so good to see everybody. Thanks to everyone who's here. Shout out to all the members on Comics with Bueller's channel. Love this channel. Bueller, you do great work. Always great to see you. I'm doing good. I'm feeling really good. I'm actually right now working on getting the top 10 out, but I'm taking a break to chat with you and to chat with the comic fam.
That's right. He's a busy guy. I know he's been working on this all day. We've been chatting all day about a bunch of different stuff. So I know he's kind of under the gun. So I just want to say thank you, Tom, so much for joining me tonight. And I want to say thank you to everyone who's jumping in the chat already. We got a bunch of people watching, and we have a subject to talk about tonight. And I wanted to bring Tom on because he's kind of the go-to guy when it comes to this. And we're talking about the CBSI top 10 list. And this is the list that comes out every Friday. That's the video that Tom's working on that will be out later tonight. And the list always comes out on Friday. And I want to break it down so in its basic form, exactly what it is. And that's why Tom's here with us tonight. And we have some other exciting announcements that will come later. And we're very excited to talk about that stuff because it's something we've been working on for a while. And it's finally coming to fruition. I think that's the right word. And it's a lot of fun. But let's go ahead and jump into the topic tonight, the CBSI top 10 list. First thing, Tom, give me just a basic rundown of what the list is.
Ooh, okay. So the CBSI Hot 10 list is a list that comes out every Friday, and it is a list that's put together primarily by the writer Ben Stein, who's been a part of the list, how it's been put together for the last couple of years, but he solely does it now with the help of other CBSI volunteers as well, and the community at large that helps provide him, research and the tools that he uses to then narrow down in this sea of comics that are selling all over the place, which ones that he feels are the 10 most relevant and most interesting to put onto the list. These 10 books, there's actually 12 every single week. 2 of them are honorable mentions, and 10 of them are like the 10 throughout the week that get compiled into this list, and it comes out on Friday. And it's a reflection of the comic sales that happened over the last 7 days.
We're going to get more detailed into those points as we go on. But the main reason I wanted to bring this up, because I'm somewhat new back to collecting. It's been almost 2 years now when I started collecting. And then the reason I wanted to talk about this, because I had some misconceptions of the list itself, exactly where it comes from, what it's set, and the prices like that. And I really didn't know. I'll be totally honest with you. The details I was lacking. And that's something I want to get into with you since you're kind of the guy that knows the stuff. But first thing, how is the CBSI list compiled?
Okay, so Ben Stein's the writer. So he's the person that the team looks at, and like he's the one who's preparing it all. Now, CBSI itself as a website is filled with a bunch of volunteers and then quote unquote members. But like, what does it take to be a member of CBSI? Yeah, you follow them on Facebook and you're just part of the community. It's like being an IG comic family member. Like we are all part of the comic book community. So Ben Stein uses the research tools that he has, different websites and different things that he follows, because he does this every single week to compile and get a large list of comic books down to just a meager 10 that could be highlighted for the list. And then that's kind of worked out through the CBSI team, like that core group. It's probably under 5 people who all put the list together in its final form to get it available to the community on Friday morning. List is put together, typically finalizing it clear through the night at times, and then released typically around noon to 3 p.m. on Fridays. But that time is subject to change. We're doing it they are doing it every single week.
So I would assume eBay being one of the sites that they're using to find information for these books. Is there other sites they're using to find information?
Oh, absolutely. GPA, and you also have like Heritage, and really all the main sites that comic book collectors and individuals who are monitoring the market would use, so that we can keep an eye on all the books in general, because sometimes there's like Silver Age books that are super hot that have big changes throughout the week. And there's a lot of keys to keep track of. So it's a combined effort, I'm sure. I've never sat with Ben as he puts this list together, but you can imagine, the different tools that you would want to use, which books off the top of your head you would want to be looking at over others, and then also using things like news throughout the week, just being part of pop culture and analyzing the market and just being up on what's being reported on different sites. And then to top it off, CBSI as a website is in itself a tool for itself to hunt these type or to create these kind of lists, because there's all these different contributors who are providing valued content that then provides, I'm sure, Ben as well as other writers, information and data to then go off of. Oh, this happened in the market this week. All right, what comic books would be affected by that? Oh, here are comic books that are affected by that. And then that list gets generated.
So let's jump into that. So like who the CBSI comprises of. Obviously, you're on there. You're putting your list on there, and you have a nice partnership with them. There's other gentlemen that I know, Mr. Bolo and Brian from Simple Man's Comics. They all contribute to the website. But who, like you said, you mentioned the website. They no longer do the Google thing or whatnot because that's no longer a thing, as far as what I understand. So, but I mean, who are they? I mean, I'm assuming that these guys have a lot of history of collecting and knowledge and stuff like that, because you can't just come from anywhere and just start doing stuff. They have to have it backed up with some knowledge and everything. So who exactly is CBSI? You talked about Ben Stein and like 5 other core gentlemen and stuff like that. Do those other 5 help contribute to the list? Do you know? You might not be able to answer that question, but I'll throw it out there for you.
I can answer it the best I can. As far as contributors go, I mean, these are volunteers. I mean, I know there's one owner, and I believe his name is Ben as well. He's actually more well versed in Golden Age comics, and actually does a lot of the Golden Age types of articles on the site. But then you have AKA Mr. Bolo, who is Jack over at CBSI. He's the kind of social media person who handles a lot of the Instagram stuff, Facebook, and that's why we see him a lot, because he really represents CBSI well and has kind of brought them through that transition from Google Plus to now where the community is: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I know Brian from Simple Man is like any of the other contributors, much, I believe, just like myself.
Yeah.
We use the term partnership kind of loosely because we literally just work together. Our relationship is legit. We get the list a little early, so then I can make a video with my team to release within the next day, ideally within 5 hours of CBSI dropping it. Doesn't always happen. I typically release our video right around 7 because it takes a good amount of time to put together. But those are the main people that I know, but I'm sure there's a couple others who are, behind the scenes helping with the website. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on over there, but what I do know is CBSI is a lot of volunteers, people that are just like you and me producing content for the comic book community.
I like that. The volunteers kind of gives it that, it's a volunteer. You're not getting paid for what you're doing. You're volunteer because you're passionate about the comics or the collection or the hobby. And that's why these people are volunteering to do this. So I think that's really cool. I want to get to a couple other questions, but really quick, I just want to say thank you to Perry Comics for the super chat. Awesome, man. And then I got Economics and Comics also did a super chat. Me and Tom were just talking a little bit ago. My microphone crapped out on me earlier in the week. So I'm trying to save up for a new microphone. And apparently this is a common practice, because Tom told me earlier in the week that he went through 3 microphones. So thank you so much. All that, those super chats go towards supporting the podcast and everything. So I really appreciate that. And also Sam's Tango Web, my moderator. Appreciate you being in here. As always, very dedicated to being here. And I want to get back really quick. So you mentioned, like, as far as the partnership goes. I already know the story. And so how long have you been reporting the top 10 list?
It's got to be pushing just over a year. I could be wrong on that. I want to say it's close to a year, almost a year, maybe like 9 to 10 months.
And the first one that you did, you didn't talk to anybody there, right?
Yeah, we actually did two. We did the first two videos. I'm almost positive. I mean, we've done a lot now, but with the first two videos, it was a just kind of a video I wanted to make. I thought it was a cool list, and I was a fan of this list for years before we had a YouTube channel. I've been following CBSI and been a Google Plus member. I remember being at the bank and having CBSI on my screen in between customers, just looking up comic book content, learning stuff. So I remember just being here, and Russ and I had a show planned, something that we put energy into. We put a lot of time into it. We thought it would be really funny. We didn't really know what we were doing on the mic just yet. We're trying to figure it out. And then I said, hey, before we do this, I have this list of 10 books that this really cool website puts out. Let's chat about this list. And he was like, nah, no one will care about that. And he actually like, I remember specifically, he was like, nah, let's not do that. Let's do something else. And I'm like, no, let's just do it. So we sat down, I gave him the list, and we just went back and forth. And it wasn't the best content we've made, but it outperformed that video that we did that night by like 5 times, 10 times. Like it was enough to go. And at that time, it was like the difference between 100 people watching it and 10 people watching it. So it was like, oh my goodness, we stumbled upon something. So we wanted to do it again the next week. And at that time, they were only doing it bi-weekly. So what happened is we happened to put that second video out when they were deciding, hey, we want to do this every week. And CBSI had started releasing some top 10 content in podcast format, but they really liked how we did it. So they thought, hey, we're trying to get something off the ground, but you made a couple videos that we like. What if we give you the list a little early so you guys can actually get the video out in rather than Saturday or Sunday? I mean, at times we were getting it out on Monday, latest. And we were like, yeah, why not? We'll get the list a little early and then we can hit the ground running. And yeah, since then, every single Friday, I have been doing this same grind, which is writing a show and researching the heck out of comics to present a video to the community. And yeah, we've done like over 60 of them now.
So they came to you, right? They saw the video, they recognized it, and they just came to you and said, hey, we'll provide this for you. And that's kind of it, correct?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Jack hit me up. What happened is Jack saw the video, brought it to his peeps, and they were like, they're kind of doing what we wanted to do. And Jack's like, yeah, well, don't look at it like that. Like, what if he likes our stuff? Like, what if we just helped him and we just all grew together? And he kind of like showed this team. I mean, they were all on Google Plus. I mean, Instagram was not the main thought, and being on Facebook was. I mean, they had a really good core group of people that was providing a lot of success to the website through a platform that was ending. There was a lot of great comedians that were on Vine. Things change. And in this case, Jack saw an opportunity and he just, he hit me up. Hey, what if we just did this and see how this went? And it was successful. It's the top 10 has been one of it's easily the biggest video we produce every week. It's grown our channel. And, I'm definitely found like a lot of our shows are built around trying to just keep up with news, but also making comic books entertaining and trying to shed light on stuff that doesn't really get the light of day, even to like the most well-versed comic book fan.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I didn't know what the CBSI was until I saw it on your channel. As a collector coming back into it just a couple of years ago, I had no clue. I mean, there's a lot of phrases I had no idea what they were. And I've said this before, I didn't even know what art germ was for the longest time, and it turned out to be an artist. And I thought it was some weird term about, some kind of artwork. I don't know. But your channel introduced me to the CBSI top 10 list and also the website that they put out there as well. And I actually put the link down below. If you're curious to find out about CBSI, the link is in the description along with Tom's information is down there as well. So if you want to check out his channel and find this list that we're talking about today, all that stuff is there. I want to talk about something you kind of mentioned just a second ago, the honorable mentions, okay? And every week I notice that there's 2 honorable mentions. Now, you comprise a monthly video highlighting those. I like the honorable mentions because they seem to be I'll give you an example. The week that Endgame came out, every book related to Endgame the movie, but the honorable mentions didn't. And I thought that was kind of neat, they're kind of out of left field. What's your take on the honorable mentions, and do you enjoy having those on there as well?
Oh, absolutely. It's a really valued part of the list. I think that well, for one, it offers CBSI Ben a little cushion, because I'm sure there's some times that he feels like, oh, I should probably put this book on the list, but it's not going to break the 10. There have been on more than 5 occasions where I have actually referenced that, hey, you know what? CBSI, we got to give it to them. They put this on the honorable mention when it was just selling for cover price, and now it's not selling for cover price. And the last one, oh, you know what? The big one as of late was Naomi. Naomi was an honorable mention first.
Wow.
And Ben called it. He's like, yo, this is being picked up. It was like that week. And then all of a sudden we saw just it shot out of control. And that was not because it was on the top 10. Like, people say, oh, Tom, you mentioned it on the top 10. That book wasn't on the top 10 that first week. It was an honorable mention. I didn't talk about that book until the next week. And I didn't talk about that book being on the top 10 first until the honorable mentions at the end of the month. So it also is like, gives a little credibility that, these guys are actually calling some of these before they have even put it on the, like, that top 10 pedestal that they've kind of created for themselves, of like, as far as what they recognize as interesting to them, that also the community happens to find interesting. So anyways, I like that, in that there's books that just sometimes get missed, and it's a good opportunity to add something there that, we should want to bring it to the community, but it's not like an epic thing, but it could be. And then you also have like these one-offs, like Golden Age. There's, as collectors here, as far as this channel goes, we talk a lot about comics, but when we talk about comics, like, what percentage of comics are we talking about that are newer than silver? We'd probably talk more about bronze and modern and copper than anything else. Then we talk about silver, and then we talk about gold. Do we ever bring up platinum? Do we ever bring up little big books? Do we ever bring up, like, these obscure stuff from, that does have value, that is out there, that collectors do find on the hunt? Well, honorable mentions, like, is an opportunity to fill those gaps up as well. Oh, here's a painting that sold this year, or this month. They had the Frazetta painting that made the honorable mentions list yesterday that I did with Jeff. It offers a little extra to the list, and it's that spice that I like about it, because we're just talking about just some random stuff, but it is relevant. So it's pretty good stuff.
Well, I like it because it gives me 2 extra books to look for on the list, to be honest with you. That's kind of why I always look at the top 10. I kind of scroll down and I look at the honorable mentions. And like you said, Naomi was on there, and there's been some really cool titles that are on there on the honorable mentions list. I'll be like, yeah, I can find that title, because I think sometimes it gets overlooked, but that is available every week on their website. It's right below the list itself. And like I said, you put together the monthly one. You highlight every one of them from the month. And that video was that your last video you just put out?
Yeah, yesterday was the honorable mentions for last month.
That's right.
I try to get that out before the first top 10 of the following month, if possible.
Very cool. I want to take a quick break. Ryan Atkins, a super chat for some wonderful content and some for the new mic. Thank you very much, Ryan. And then I got Steve Whiting, another super chat. Mike, super chat, blue balls. Here I come. Okay. Everyone knows when you do a super chat, you get to go on the blue balls. Tom, you're not on there.
I'm not on there, man. I'm not on the blue ball. Why are you pluralizing? Why are you putting an S on that? It's just one ball I'm seeing.
We'll talk about that later. And of course, economics and comics, my buddy Bill. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And so this is kind of the question I wanted to get to, and I believe that this is one that was kind of rings a bell with some people. It's what are some common misconceptions about the list? And I know I get them questions sent my way, and I'm sure you get questions sent your way. What are some of the common ones that you hear?
I think everybody knows everything about the list. There's no misconceptions. No, I'm just kidding. No, some misconceptions. I think the first one that's pretty big is that CBSI is setting prices in any way. These are all books that have, there's evidence backing up, them being on the list. It's literally written in there. A lot of the times it's like, hey, there's a movie that's happening, or or they're seeing these sales happen. It's from eBay, it's from GPA, it's from Heritage. These are sales that happened in the week.
Yeah.
They're reporting on it. So I would say that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions. The second one is that we have anything to do with the assembly of the list. I am provided the list earlier to make the video. We received the list as pretty much as late as possible, or excuse me, as early as possible. As soon as Ben is finished, I get a text from Jack. Jack gives me access to the list, and then my timer starts. I got to make this video for the Comic Fam, so I start grinding. Like I'm basically a blacksmith grinding the swords. I'm gonna go and like help fight. We're gonna go to Mordor. We're gonna throw the ring in, and we're gonna just do some battle and make this video happen no matter what. And that's what we do.
And sometimes the video file's corrupt. Then you gotta start all over.
Yep. Yeah. Today was a fun one. Some reason Google Drive's been failing me, and it's delayed the video quite a bit, and it's been tough. But you know what? I've done it so many times. I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna happen. Mics are gonna break. It's okay. We're gonna get the video out.
So you mentioned on one of the misconceptions, and this was actually mine. This is actually from the very beginning when I first started paying attention to this list, and I thought this was the case. I thought that CBSI set the prices, picked the books, whatever they wanted to do, and then set the prices and did the list. Because in my mind, I was sitting there thinking, oh, CBSI is this big company or something like that, that's doing this, and they're putting all this time and effort into it. And it comes out to be that they're just some volunteers, and they're not setting the prices. They're literally finding the prices that they are being sold for currently on these websites, on eBay, on other sites that are being sold for that price. So basically what they're doing is they're compiling the list as a more concentrated form and just pretty much being the messenger for it. They're not deciding anything on the end as far as price goes. It's already sold for that price. It's already set and stuff like that. And that was a misconception I had. I literally had no idea that they didn't have anything to do with that. So I just, I wanted to throw that out there. Obviously, you just kind of hit it on a little bit, but like you said, you probably hear that as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely easy to misunderstand that. That's why I try to provide context to the list in our videos. I don't like to just reiterate what's in text. I try to provide more value than that. And I also try to provide reason to why things are happening, because it's one thing for me to go, oh, wow, that's crazy. It's selling for a lot of money. Or, oh, wow, it's crazy that that's selling for a lot of money. Like, I'm saying the same thing in different ways, and they both mean the same thing, though. At the end of the day, what value does that provide anybody? It doesn't. What provides value is reasoning behind it. So if there's an independent book that no one's heard about, instead of me just going, oh, who cares about that? I've never heard of that. Why would someone spend money on that? No, I put, I walk a mile in someone else's moccasins. I think about the Hellboy collector in me. Would I pay money if this was something that I cared about? And as soon as you step into the collector's shoes, you start thinking about it in that mindset. It's a hunting trail. You find out interesting stuff. You find out true first appearances. You find out advertisements. You find out historical stuff. You find out stuff that's cooler than the book itself. And I bring that to the mic. I provide that to the comic book community. And that's the value that I feel like we provide when covering this list. We want to bring context, but we also want to bring value. And I think that that's how we accomplish those things, because what are we actually talking about? We're talking about 10 comic books that have sold aggressively in the last 6 days. Let's put a percentage to that. We're talking about 0.001% of the entire comic book market. That's what we're talking about. Let's not mince words here. This is all an opinion, but we're talking about the little bit of comics that are actually worth money. The vast majority of comic books aren't even worth a bag and a board. So the fact that this list is popular means something. It means that Ben's a good writer. It means he's earned credibility. And it means that the community at large finds it valuable. Yep. They find it valuable because they're learning something. It's showing them where to go. It's showing individuals kind of like a comic book store owner's job is to show individuals on that huge wall of comics that's super not approachable, how to approach it, where to go. And CBSI does it with with the evidence to show this is what the community at large is focusing on. They put in an easy to read, digestible list, and that's why it's popular.
Yeah, there's a question in here real quick. This is from Bill, and I think you kind of touched on it a little bit. And you might not know the correct answer, but are the top 10 just random hot books or 10 hottest of the week?
One more time.
Are the top 10 books that are in the list, are they random hot books, or are they the hottest books of the week type thing?
Ooh, it's a little bit of, it's not, it's hard. How do you answer that? It's a little bit of both, I guess. I mean, I would say it's the hottest of the week, but that's relevant, right? Because we're talking about 0.001% of the books. So it could be argued that unless there's like literally a news article of this book will be adapted, Gotham by Gaslight is going to be an animated series. Thus, Gotham by Gaslight, the comic book, is going up in value. Unless you can like literally hold up on the screen and go 1 for 1 for 10 books of news, like breaking mainstream news, any book could be argued, for being on there over another, because there are crazy sales every week. But what makes CBSI competitive is that amongst all of that, they're able to provide a clear list that does land, which matters.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's a combination of both, because you will find books on the list that are relevant to what's going on, say, in Hollywood. And then there's an Archie book with a half like bikini girl jumping off a diving board that's on the top 10 list. And that doesn't have anything to do with anything that's in Hollywood or in a news article or something like that. So I think it's a combination of both. And that book has actually been on the list for a couple weeks, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. And today, the list is already out. So you'll see it today in our top 10 list. But, for me as a collector and someone who is familiar with Archie books, I know that there's going to be collectors who are going to look and go, oh, they're reporting on this Veronica book. And yeah, it's selling at a high grade, in high grade for an absurd amount of money. And they may be surprised about that. And then I think of all the like almost good girl covers, risque covers that I've seen sell at conventions, that if you walk the show floor, you'll see that book up there priced just the same way. And you'll go, oh, it's because it does sell. It's because there are Archie collectors. It's just eBay doesn't show it as often because people don't know at large. And then people are surprised about it. So yeah, sometimes I'm like, oh, really? That's on the list. Why? And sometimes I don't always agree.
Yeah.
Sometimes Russ doesn't always agree. Yeah. Sometimes we don't like the book. We don't care for the read. We try to voice our opinions when we think it matters most, especially when it's like really, really expensive. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's like that placement of that one book may be a much larger conversation. That one Veronica book, it may be one example of someone paying a lot of money for a high grade book, but that is a much larger example of the community's interest. Where are they being focused to? Right, guys, people are paying $80 for a freaking Archie book that came out in 1992. We're sounding the alarms for you. That's what we're doing. We're not going, look at this one book. If it looks, this is it right here, buy this one book. No, we're going, look at this as an example. You can learn from this, because if there's one, there are others. And we're going to keep showing you others, because guess what? They're happening. And we're going to report on it tonight.
I liked, you and I have had conversations, and we've actually asked each other, why is that book on the list? I don't agree. Just like what you've had with Russ type thing. You and I have shared those same conversations. The last question I want to talk about as far as pertaining to CBSI is, and it could just be the list itself and CBSI, the website as well. But how would you qualify this as being helpful to comic collectors? The list and just CBSI in general, because there's so much more on the website that is available to everybody.
Absolutely. Okay, so CBSI is pumping out so much content on their website, and the content is coming from comic book enthusiasts. And that is the biggest difference. It is something that makes the comic book community on the internet, here on social. I mean, I'm looking here in the chat, and I economics, we got Bill here. I saw Caleb Comic Smurf here. We have individuals here who are bringing more viewers to their live channel, I am not kidding you, than Preview's YouTube channel. We have individuals in this comic book community that's actually bringing more attention than businesses that have YouTube channels, because we're actually a fan of this stuff. We actually care about not just the stories, but the writers, the artists. We care about grading. We care about the slab. We care about what company slabs it. We care about the people who have commentary about the slabs. You know, I listen to Reggie talk about eBay sales when I get bored. You know, come on, like this is the stuff that we actually care about. But if you're not into it, if you don't actually like it, we're going to know.
Yeah.
We're all going to know, because this is the comic book community. This is the it's probably one of the most fickle community that exists. It is for real. How many different, here, I'm going to do an impression. How many different like times where you can like go to buy something where someone will go, okay, I'm going to just hold on 1 second. I know you're selling this to me for $4. I'm going to take 10 minutes and look at this book.
Yeah.
And they do this and they do this and literally, and they go, you know what? I'll give you $3.50. That's our life. Yeah. That's what we do every day. And we don't think anything of it. And most people go crazy. Most people are like, what? Comics? No, we love it. That's how we do it. So like, that's why CBSI is providing such great content, because they're filled with people like us who are pumping out just content for us, and it brings the community value. So anyways, that's my plug on why CBSI as a website's great, because you'll go on there and there is articles upon articles that for real are so valuable that fall on deaf ears because people don't know. Because we're the community is a visual, it's a visual hobby. We all like reading, right? A lot of us are introverted. And those who aren't have YouTube channels, and we are, or those who are coming out of it have YouTube channels too. I mean, it's for both, but we're very visual, and a lot of comic book stuff it happens on the computer. You know, people share on the forums. I mean, think of like Google Plus. What was Google Plus? It was all text. Yeah. What the CGC forums, that was to this day, one of the biggest environments of comic book collectors that are all like coming together as one and like working together and building off of each other's conversations and such. And it's a forum. There's no visuals there. It's literally text. This is all new. And we're right now accessing all of those articles, all this information that's been out there, and we make videos on it, and we're just highlighting content that's there. This information's all on the internet. We're just trying to decipher it. We're trying to bring it to the attention to the masses to show that there's so much cooler stuff here. You just got to put a little time into it, and the work's already been laid out for us. Yeah. Topher, we do True First videos all the time, and I'm quoting stuff that Topher did from 4 years ago that are blowing people's mind right now. And I'm like, yeah, but you know, I learned this because I just did the research and I bought the comics, and we all can do it. So anyways, CBSI, I think the website's filled with great information, and it's filled with individuals who are providing this content because they want to contribute to the community. And anyone who's contributing to this community in a good way, it's good in my book. That's why I follow so many of our members' YouTube channels. I try to support when I can. I like jumping in on chats because this is the community that I make content for. And CBSI as a business is doing that too. Yeah. And I can't name many businesses who are in this sphere. Nick over at Key Collector, yeah. he's very active in this community. Can we name any other businesses?
It's very, very small, but the people that are in it are very dedicated to it. So my hat's off to, you mentioned Key Collector, and both of us have worked with him a little bit in the past and stuff like that. And, we have some pretty great tools at our, that we can reference right now. And I think it's a great time to be a collector.
So as far as the CBSI list, though, as far as that value that it brings, the list is competitive in its nature, that it is a variety of things. The list is not just the 10 hottest books that came out on last Wednesday. There may be a couple books from there. There may be one book from there. There may be no books from there, because sometimes there are other books that are in Ben Stein's or CBSI's opinion, something should be, something's more hot. There are other books at play here that deserve that placement. But the thing that makes that list competitive is that list tells a story. It's not just the variants. It's not just the one book that's sold. It could be because was a monumental sale. It was a record breaker, and it's got to be on the list. But it also could be something that it means that there's a larger conversation at play. oh wow, there's a renewed interest in Spawn. Just because we mention one Spawn book on the list doesn't mean that there aren't 30 other crazy sales that have happened in that same sweet spot of issues 150 to 230 where people stopped buying Spawn 10 years ago. So if that Spawn book's on the list, it means that there's more at play. It means that there's more to talk about. But this is an example of that. It's a larger conversation, and that's where people find value.
Yeah.
It's that it provides some direction because there are so many comic books, and that's all we're doing, is trying to provide a little value.
So I gotta ask you something. But besides your list, let me ask you to see if you know me well enough. There's a certain thing on CBSI's website that I really enjoy. Can you take a guess at what that one might be?
Ooh.
Your list, we'll take your list out of it.
So not the CBSI hot list. I'm assuming you're not meaning the true first list. Are you thinking of like the hot picks of the week?
No, it's the Dollar Bin Diamond.
Dollar Bin Diamond. Yeah,
Come on,
there you go.
You should know that.
I should know that one.
Very cool. Well, hey, you know what? I think that's quite a bit what I wanted to cover about the list, but we have some other things we want to talk about. Do you want to wrap up the list conversation real quick, or are you good?
Oh, I think I'm good. Check out our channel. We released the list. We premiere it on Fridays. Today may be the exception here that it's going to be a little late. I'm still going to premiere it. I like being in the chat with everybody. And also post show, we're going to start doing a live show on ComicKarma101, which we're going to probably chat about here pretty soon, but that's another YouTube channel that we've established, and we're, I'm going to be using it a lot. Bueller's going to be using it as well, but I want to do more community involvement. I want to get more members of the community on Google Hangouts and have conversations and not be confined to what we are on our main channel with the videos that we produce there. So join us tonight on my channel, ComicTom101, when we premiere the Hot 10 list, the video coverage that complements the CBSI Hot 10 list that's already out on their website at comicbookinvest.com.
So you mentioned it, man. So let's jump into it. I'm excited to talk about this. And this is something that me and Tom have been working on now for a little while. We've had many conversations about this. This is the ComicKarma101. It's a brand new YouTube channel. Like he said, it's going to be something that we're both going to be on. And you know what? I posted a little something on Instagram with a little trailer type thing. The link is down. Actually, the link is in the comment section right now because there's a lot of stuff in the description. So it's pinned in the comments. So if you want to go check out ComicKarma101, there's literally just one little trailer on there right now. It's brand new today, but it's going to be a lot of fun channel. Like I said, Tom and I talked about this. It's a great name too, by the way. I don't know who came up with the name. I think it was me, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And Tom, why don't you kind of explain a little bit, and I'll jump in as well.
Yeah, ComicKarma101. It's good. This is my second YouTube channel, and I want a spot where I don't have to overthink the kind of content that I'm making. There's a lot of times where we are doing things where we could be filming, and sometimes things are kind of just lost because of that. The nature of what we do, I think something that probably just goes unnoticed a little bit, but Bueller, I'll just give you credit because I know that you do your weekly picks, and I know that video takes you hours upon hours to film. Some of our content does take like that, and a lot of the times the content that actually gets seen and that's the most important does take the most amount of work, and through that a lot of stuff just gets unused, it gets missed, and I feel like we could just be doing more. And I want to have more community FaceTime. I want to go live more. I want to do more shows. And I think this is a really good way we can do it. If we have this second channel, which we do, ComicKarma101, we can use this channel. I want to do our unboxings here. I want to do Comic Karma here. Right now, we get so much Comic Karma that we can't show it all on the screen. I literally was doing Comic Karma on our Wednesday live show. And then I realized if we do a live show right now with all that we're talking about, we're going to be able to go through like 15, 20% of the Comic Karma that was donated, that it's my responsibility to showcase because people are sending it in. And then I want to send that out that month in the mystery mail call where you can sign up at geekstreet101.com to join our comic book subscription service. And this is going to be a spot where Bueller and I could either one, go live and have a conversation at any point, or two, do an unboxing and highlight community, in community involvement. We can plug our channels to come, to send our audience here to this, this third channel, and just try to spread that comic book love.
I agree, and that's actually what this how this conversation started. Me and Tom were talking a few weeks ago, and like you said, we get a lot of karma sent our way, and there's a lot of karma that we send out. As you guys are all aware, Tom has his mystery box. I have a Bueller box. We both send out donated books in our boxes, and sometimes it's hard to highlight some of those books because I told this to Tom, and my hat's off to the people that have sent me books, but just over the last I'd say 2 weeks, I got over 300 books sent to me for the Bueller boxes. And it take a long time to highlight all those, but you know what? I want it. And I want the time and the channel to do it on. And that's why we kind of came up with this idea, the Comic Karma 101, because that's what it is. It's the stuff that the community sent to us. We get to highlight that stuff. We get to highlight the community members. We get to just kind of, just talk off the cuff, and just kind of, we might even stream a video game on there. We even talked about that, because we have other interests outside of comics. And we like talk. I'm a big wrestling fan. I don't know if Tom is, but I'd have a wrestling conversation on there. Would you jump in on that?
Why not? I don't really know anything about wrestling, but I'm sure I could have some fun reacting to it. I'm down for whatever, man. Something that happened last month is, or maybe it wasn't last month, it was a couple months ago, but there was a point where I was on YouTube and we're editing. We're always doing the same thing. So like we're online, we're jumping into people's chats and stuff. And the next thing I know is I'm like, oh, Bueller just joined this person's chat. I want to join this chat. And then we were just joining people's chats all the time. And I'm like, wow, I want to be able to do this all the time. And we're restricted when we have our channels that we're producing dedicated content. We want to keep that going. We need to, we're trying to grow something there, and we're fighting the algorithm. Unfortunately, the people, it isn't what's our community and in the comic book community at large is not what's going to determine what gets seen on YouTube for us. It's the algorithm. It's out of their hands. That's why we ask for likes on our videos and for you to interact and comment, because it legit is super necessary for the work that we put into the videos to even be seen, to even have a chance in this ether of so many videos, countless videos being produced every second. So this is our opportunity to just we don't want to be held back. We want to make more content for you. And I think throughout this too, it's going to help us get better and probably provide more value to the community at large. So
I agree. I think, and I think you'll agree with me this. I'm my own worst critic, and I am very critical of the videos I make. And I'm like, okay, did I say it right? Is it looking nice? And stuff like that. And I know you are too. You put a lot of time and effort into your videos because they're very important. I take a lot of pride in that stuff. But sometimes I just like to relax, and just talk some comics and not really have to think too much about it. And I'm looking forward to having conversations like that with a lot of people in the community, and open the door and say, come on in, let's talk about, something that happened this week in comics or something else, and I think that gives us the opportunity to do that. And, I think I mentioned you one time, I said, you know what, I watch you on Instagram, you go live and you're just kind of, off the cuff talking. I was like, why don't we kind of do something like that on YouTube type thing? And you were like, that's a great idea. We should do that type thing. And that's kind of what the Comic Karma 101 is. And like I said, the link is down there. You can actually type in the search on YouTube, Comic Karma 101. It should pop up. There's only like 3 subscribers, but it is a featured channel on my page. It'll probably be on Tom's page here pretty soon. And we'll be putting stuff on there. So what's the plan? We have a plan.
That's right. We're going to go live here after this show. So this is going to be for all the diehards here, all the people who really want to support us, So I mean, if you're a little weary in comic book content, you're kind of feeling like you've had enough talk about comic books, it may not be the channel for you. I'm just warning you. But if you're into comics and you want to support us, come on over to ComicKarma101. We're going to go live there. I just posted the first video right before we went live right now so that we could go do this. So, we got 14 subs. We went up 14 subs today.
Hey, there we go. We're on the roll, man.
Look at that, man. Beautiful. I'm digging it.
Watching, hey, let people know, because this is going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it. It's a brand new thing, and whether people enjoy it or not, we'll find out as we go along. It's almost unscripted. That's the way I want to put it. Unscripted comic karma at its best.
Love it. Love it. We're going to go on there for just a little bit. No worries. It's not going to be a whole show. We just want to get something live on there and want to let everybody know here first that, we appreciate you guys and you should come on over and say hi.
That's awesome. Well, Tom, I think we should wrap it up. Let me kind of cover a couple things really quick before we go. Obviously, you do your mystery box. What's the last date to sign up for the month?
The 15th of the month. We have, oh, wow, it's 8 days now. 8 days are left to sign up and reserve your box for the June mystery mail call. It's June now. Oh my goodness, we've been doing this for a while. June mystery mail call. We got a lot of great books going out. Boxes are all assembled. Just you got to reserve them, and we're going to go until we sell out. So until the 15th.
Down below, Geek Street 101. It's down in the description. Also, if anyone's interested, there are Bueller boxes available right now. There's only like 15. I'm not making a lot this week because I am going to a show tomorrow, and I am buying hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comics for the Bueller box. This is a great show. Last time I went there, I loaded up and got so much good stuff, and it's going in the Bueller boxes. So I'm not spending a lot of time making boxes this weekend, but there are 15 available right now. I believe the link is down below. Bueller's Bargains. They're not very expensive. You can buy one and throw some money my way to go buy more books to put in the Bueller box.
That's literally how it works.
That's literally how it works. And you know what? That's it. That's all I have. I really appreciate you coming on. I'll let you say a couple final words.
Oh, you know what? I appreciate everyone for listening. I appreciate anyone who cares to know about this kind of stuff. I mean, it's, we're talking about comic book lists that we generate because, or that the commentary on lists that are generated for the community because we enjoy the same hobby and we all like collecting and talking about this stuff, and we're all major geeks, and you know what? It's what makes me happy, and I know it makes a lot of people happy too. So anyone who cares to listen to us talk about things like this, it means so much more, because I feel like to just a random person walking by explaining our interests, it just seems foreign. So I don't know. It feels like I'm at home. I feel like, we say comic fam. I don't want to like overuse that, but it really is. I mean, when I meet our members and our friends, our people at conventions, it feels like we're closer than some like family and friends that I have met in my life. It's like there's this a type of not just connection, but we can relate to one another, and I think it's cool because we found that here in the internet, and it's the best community there is. There's no one's got anything on the Comic Fam.
Real quick, there's a question in here before we go. Eric Mena said, hope to see you guys in Washington. I'm assuming you're referring to the Washington State Summer Con. I will for sure be there. I think Tom's going to be there, but if you are there, Eric, please look for me and please come up and say hello, because we like talking comics, and I'm going to try to be there both days because it's got a great lineup.
I'm trying to make it. It's tough. This is like all my siblings are graduating this year, so it's like I already got that text from my mom. You're going to be there, right? And I'm like, of course I'm going to be there. I'm like, oh, crap, I got to go.
Very cool. And I want to say thank you really quick, the Greek Freak, for the super chat. Appreciate that very much. And I'm going to wrap it up. And if people want to come on over to ComicKarma101, please follow us over there. We're going to be going live here very soon. And I think we should talk some Walking Dead.
Yeah, okay. Why not? Let's do it.
Something kind of happened this week in Walking Dead, and I want to talk about it. So I think it'll be kind of cool. So I want to do it
right now.
Right now, Tom, you know what happened with The Walking Dead?
No. I want to do it right now. Like, let's go do a Comic Karma.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate everyone showing up tonight. Don't forget to like, subscribe. All the links are down below. We will see you on Comic Karma 101 very shortly. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Woo. Ow. Ow.